A few years ago, I spent almost an entire week lying in bed crying. There was this overwhelming feeling in my chest and in my stomach, and so much confusion. I had no energy, no motivation, just this heavy sense that something was horribly wrong. At the time, I felt like I was dying. But looking back now, I realize I was finally slowing down enough to feel something I'd been carrying for years. Eventually, I stopped trying to push it away. And I cried on and off for a few days, and it actually felt so good. And when it finally passed, I felt lighter and more alive than I'd felt in years. It completely changed how I understood emotions. And it also changed how I understood relaxation. I used to assume relaxation was something that you earned after work, after success, after you'd finished everything on your to-do list. But over the last few years, I've come to know something very different through my own experience. Relaxation isn't the absence of problems. It's the absence of resistance. And I've come to understand that relaxation and being present are deeply connected. In fact, I'm no longer sure it's possible to be truly relaxed without being present. Today, I'd like to explore that idea with you because it's something that you can actually test for yourself, and that's what's important. Before we go any further, would you be willing to try a small experiment with me? Just for a few seconds, bring your attention into your body. Not your thoughts about the body, but the feeling of your body. How does it feel? Don't answer with words. Just breathe into whatever you're feeling. Are your shoulders slightly raised? Is your jaw clenched? Is your stomach tense? Don't try to change anything. Just notice with your awareness. Don't judge yourself. Don't think. Just be. You may even find that the moment you become aware of the tension, it softens slightly on its own. One thing I became increasingly aware of over the years is how much tension I carried in my solar plexus area of the stomach, especially when I felt anxious or uncertain. I wasn't doing it consciously, it was just a habit. And the strange thing was, I wasn't even aware of it. And that's something I've come to know through my own direct experience. Awareness helps you see the tension. Understanding helps you see why it's there. And once you begin to understand those parts of yourself, letting go often happens by itself. And you can't let go of something that you don't even know that you're holding on to. And through the process of understanding why you picked it up in the first place, a deeper healing comes naturally. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And that's exactly what was happening with the tension in my stomach. It was running in the background of my life without me even realizing it. In my case, once I became aware of the automatic anxious tensing in my stomach, it naturally stopped occurring as much because I was aware of it. But the habit, it was still there. I just had a bit more control over it as I became more aware of it. But that led to the question, why does it occur in the first place? Why did I keep acting out this behavior? And so began a much deeper journey of self-inquiry. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of this? How do I just relax? I started asking, why is it here? What is its purpose? And what is it trying to teach me about my life and myself? Those questions ended up taking me much deeper than relaxation ever could. I'll explore that process in future videos. So when I first started meditating regularly, I thought I'd become better at relaxing. I did, but I also became better at noticing. My awareness gradually increased. And one thing surprised me was I wasn't just holding tension, I was resisting the tension. I wanted it gone. I thought if I could just get rid of the feeling, everything would be okay. So instead of carrying one burden, I was carrying two. The feeling itself, and then the resistance to that feeling. That made me wonder how much of our suffering comes from fighting what we're already feeling. Something to reflect on. Here's another small experiment that I'd like you to try. Whatever you're feeling right now, see if you can allow it to be there. If your chest feels heavy, just notice the heaviness. Allow it to be there. Become aware of your stomach. Is it tense? Just notice it. Allow it to be there. Become curious about your own experience of life here and now. Become curious about what you see with your awareness and what you feel. Become observant and receptive. Holding a sense of curiosity and openness towards life creates a deep sense of wonder and peace that no amount of thinking could create. Now see if you can just let go of that feeling a little bit, just 5%. Relax your jaw 5% more. Allow your shoulders to drop a little bit more. Let your stomach soften just 5% more. And then take one slow breath in and out. Notice how you feel now. That's all it takes to relax. And you can do this whenever you need to. One of the biggest things I've come to know through direct experience is that relaxation isn't something we achieve. It's something we stop preventing. Relaxation isn't waiting for you at the end of the week or at the bottom of a bottle of alcohol or after you've finally achieved everything you want. Relaxation is available right now through surrender. Now, when I say surrender, I don't mean giving up, and I don't mean becoming passive, and I don't mean agreeing with or submitting to every thought and emotion you feel, or agreeing and submitting to every other person. What I mean is to let go of the resistance to what is already there. Are you resisting anything right now? Is there some sort of obscure, unconscious tension, maybe in your stomach, in your legs? So here's the paradox. Relaxing doesn't always feel relaxing. Sometimes the moment we stop distracting ourselves, we finally become aware of everything we've been avoiding. Sadness, fear, loneliness, grief, anxiety, depression. Looking back now, I don't see that week of crying as some sort of breakdown. I understand it was actually years of resistance finally dissolving. I surrendered to the repressed emotions, crying my way through years of baggage in those few days. It was an amazing experience. I understand now that the body remembers things that the mind learns to ignore. And when life finally becomes quiet, those old emotions we didn't feel at the time, they beg to be felt, and they will make their way to the surface. Maybe that's why we reach for our phones so quickly, or stay endlessly busy, or keep searching for that next distraction. Because slowing down can feel surprisingly vulnerable and uncomfortable. There was something that finally clicked for me when I was planning out this video. And it felt so obvious once I understood it, was that every time I became genuinely present, I also became more relaxed. And every time I consciously relaxed my body, I became more present. It's like they were two sides of the same coin. That was the insight. Presence and relaxation aren't separate experiences. They are deeply connected. In many ways, I've come to know that relaxation is what presence feels like in the body. When you're completely present, you're not fighting the past. You're not arguing with the future. You're not resisting this moment. You're simply here. And in that state, there's naturally less tension, less effort, less resistance. That's why I've come to see relaxation differently. It's not about escaping life. It's more about arriving here and now fully. Life never really stops. There's always another responsibility, another decision, another challenge, another thing that has to be done. Life will continue happening. The question is, how do we meet it? I've come to know that it's possible to work while relaxed, to have difficult conversations while relaxed, to face uncertainty while relaxed, to sit in traffic even when you're late while being relaxed. Relaxation isn't necessarily about doing less. It's about resisting less. And yes, that's easier said than done, especially if there are emotions you've spent years avoiding, like myself. But one thing my own experience has shown me is that avoiding these feelings never seem to work. It only makes things worse. Here's a small experiment I'd like you to try. A few times a day, just pause for 10 seconds and see where you're holding tension. Feel it, allow it to be there, and then move. Not by doing more, by letting go. Just a little bit. Sometimes I ask myself, what am I resisting right now? And that's usually all it takes to move through whatever challenge I'm dealing with. There's usually some resistance to the present moment, which I just surrender into, and then I'm able to move through. There's one thing I've come to know through direct experience, is that relaxation isn't another achievement to unlock. It's the practice of returning to presence, really, again and again and again. Thanks so much for watching. If this video sparks something in you and you'd like to keep exploring ideas like this, I'd love to invite you to join my weekly newsletter, The Direct Experience. Each week I share observations, insights, and practices that I'm continuing to explore in my own life. My hope is that it'll help you see more clearly, feel more deeply, and move through life with greater purpose and presence. You can sign up in the link below. Until next time.